Hello everyone, it's Maria here from Pebbly Rose Paper Crafting. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in Sydney, Australia. Thank you for joining me. I just wanted to thank everyone who wished me well. Last week I was quite unwell with a cold or flu, but it's funny when inspiration hits you even when you're sick. So I was quite happy to make that card, and it kind of helped me to forget that I was a bit unwell. But I just wanted to thank all of those who messaged me and who left me beautiful comments to wish me well. I did recover well. This week, however, was very busy on a personal level, so I couldn't do a video any earlier. But nonetheless, so I'm going to make a video today where I will be showing you how to make a card, but I'll be using quite a few products. I just want to show you as well that you don't have to have everything, but if you've got certain stamp sets or certain embossing folders and punches, you can combine things. So this is kind of the video that will show you how to kind of combine things and have fun with whatever you've got. So today I'll be featuring Swirly Frames. Love this, and I'll be featuring the larger circle image from this stamp set and the Abstract Impression stamp set again. I love this stamp set, and I'll be using these two images in an animal print. I've shown you a video before, and I'll link it, hopefully if I remember, on the bottom of this, the description box on the bottom of this video. And I want to show you an animal print card, and I'll be combining things. So I'll show you the other products as we go along. So we'll get started on this straight away. First off, we're going to need a piece of very vanilla cardstock, one that is to layer on top of a crumb cake card base. So I've already cut a card base out of crumb cake, and I've scored it in half, so it's half an A4. I'll just get my bone folder, and we will burnish that score line that I've pre-done just to save some time. This is the layering piece of cardstock that we're going to use on top here. We're also going to need a scrap piece of very vanilla, 2 pieces of crumb cake cardstock, and these are 1 1/4 inches wide by however long you want your card base to be. So I'm going to leave that up to you. This is to fit an A6 card base, so I'll leave that up to you. The only thing is it's going to be a 1 1/4 inches wide, and we'll need some Pear Pizzazz cardstock as well to punch out. So we'll go as, you know, we'll do this as we go along. So first off, I'm going to be using this lion image from A Little Wild. I've featured this stamp set before, but it is so adorable, and I'll be using the lion, but not that part. So I'll just be using some Post-it note, and I'm just going to cover the top half there. And I'm going to stamp the lion in Early Espresso ink. And I'll do it this way. Now I've got an older stamp set where this is the felt one, and that's how long ago it is. So I am due for some new ink pads, but I'm waiting till my next quarter to order them, because at the moment I've already made my quarter, and I'm not going to order any more product unless someone wants to order something off me. But yeah, I'm just holding off, and it's very hard. Let me tell you. All right, so I'm just going to stamp this little lion in. I'm going to do it to the side, I'm afraid. I'm just going to do it right here, and just hold it there for a few seconds. And that's how that turned out. Not overly dark, but I don't mind. I'm going to be doing some colouring with this, so that's cool. And I'll give this a little clean with my chamois. And then I am going to stamp the large circle from that Swirly Frames stamp set, so it's this one over here, around that lion, again in Early Espresso. So I'll just quickly ink that up. This is where it comes in handy to use things like the Stamparatus or your other stamping platforms like the Misty, Tim Holtz, or any other branded ones you have out there. But I'm just going to use blocks today. And just ink that up. And as I said, this is the felt one, so I've got to work at the stamp a little bit more. But even if it's not 100%, I don't mind. Okay, so now I'm going to stamp this in the middle. So I'm just going to bring it closer to me here so I can have a look. And let's try and make sure it's even and stamp. Just hold it down for a few seconds and push down. And there we have a perfectly stamped image with the line in the middle. I think it looks super adorable. I wipe with my chamois. Then, because it's early espresso, it tends to stain, and I want to minimise the stain. I'm just going to give it a spray with my mist as well, my stamping mist, and give that a bit of a wipe. Okay, so that's done. The next thing I'm going to do is grab some Pear Pizzazz ink with some Pear Pizzazz cardstock, and I am going to ink up. I told you this has got a few things in here, so I'm very sorry. But I love the Painted Harvest stamp set, which was very popular last year around the Halloween time. And I love this detailed image there of the leaf. So I'll be using that. This is now in our annual catalogue, our brand new annual catalogue, which has gone live. So I'm using Pear Pizzazz ink. To do is I'm going to bring in my Burlap background stamp. I love this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink up these two strips of cardstock here, my crumb cake, and I'm just going to now ink up this stamp. It's not sticking to my block today because it's a very cold day today here in Sydney and wet, and because there's no humidity right now, everything's just not sticking because it's quite cold, so that's why you'll see this move. And I'm just going to pop this here and just rub over the top. You should use a piece of paper on top, but I don't care. I'm just going to do it with my hand. And I love that burlap look. And I'll use that other part there where I didn't use it. And now I'll use up all of the... And that turned out perfect. So I'm going to wipe this off. There's nothing worse than when things drop on your project, and that's happened to me many times, and the stamps still have ink on them. So that is why I'm not I'm not using, you know, that's why I clean up in between. I think it's just easier that way. All right, so my next thing is I am going to stamp my background at the front. So for half of this cardstock I'm going to do an animal print, and on the other half I'm going to emboss it. So I'll start off with making my background. So I'm just going to bring my craft sheet here. This is a non-stick craft sheet that I've recently acquired, and I'm very happy to use it. This is done by Ranger, and yeah, so you can stamp on it, you can heat emboss on it, you can do all sorts of cool stuff on it. So rather than wasting paper and what have you, I thought this is wonderful to use. So I'm now going to grab my crumb cake and my Early Espresso ink pads, and with the Abstract Impression stamp set, I'm just going to ink this up in Early Espresso and that in crumb cake. So I may speed this up. Okay, so now I have completed doing my little DSP, and I'll just wipe off my craft sheet and this, and all I'm using is just a chamois with water, and the stuff just comes right off. I absolutely love this craft sheet. Okay, so now I have finished stamping my animal print background, and you can do these as far or as close as possible, you know, as far apart or as close as you want. Now I'm going to bring back my image here with the lion, and I'm going to colour it. Actually, I should bring back my craft sheet. I forgot all about this. Okay, so I am going to now colour in the lion. So I've got Calypso Coral, Blushing Bright, and Crushed Curry. Now I'm going to use my craft sheet as a like my palette. So to start off with the mane, I'm going to colour that in Calypso Coral. So I'm just... So now my colouring is all complete, and I'll just show you this up close. So I don't really mind that the colours have kind of melded together, but just be careful not to get it too wet because it will make the page buckle. So you'll need to get your heat tool and dry that off, but I'm going to skip that step. So I'm going to get rid of my craft sheet. And now I'm going to grab my big shot and we're going to do some work on it. So I'm going to use my big shot platform with the thin die adapter. I'm going to grab a cutting plate and I'm going to stick my page there on top, and I'm going to be using the Layering Circle Framelits dies with the largest circle. And I'm going to pop that on top of that. And I'll just make sure that it's got a nice even border around it. And I'm going to grab some tape, just some painter's tape or some washi tape, whatever you've got at home. And I'm going to just stick that on top and run that through. Okay, so now I have a beautifully cut out lion. Isn't that gorgeous? I'm going to leave that now to the side, and I'm going to grab my, take these away, and the thin die adapter. I'm going to do some embossing, so I'm going to grab a cutting plate. I have separate cutting plates for my embossing folders now because I don't want them to warp when my things warp. So I'm going to use an embossing folder, and it's called the Dynamic Layered Leaves Textured Embossing Folder. This is a much thicker, this is a much thicker embossing folder, and it's in our annual catalogue again. So when you emboss, you only need one cutting plate. So with this, I'm just going to pop that halfway through here, and I'm just going to emboss the top part of the leaves there. So I'm going to run that through, make sure everything is in place, and run that through with one plate. And I'll take that away. And now you have beautifully embossed leaves on top of that. Isn't that gorgeous? Just beautiful. So that worked out really lovely. And this is a beautiful embossing folder if you have it in your collection, and you can use it for so many different kinds of projects. So I'm now going to grab my two strips here with the burlap. Now what I'm going to do is something fun with these, and then I'm going to put this in the middle, so it's going to look really pretty. And then I'm going to have my greens like here and here and here. So you can use this as a baby card or a birthday card, whatever you wish. So I'm going to have that there. But with these, I'm going to do a fun trick. I just recently acquired these fringe scissors. So they're basically 5 blades in one. And with our previous occasions catalogue, I really loved the fringed ribbon that we had, but because I don't have that ribbon, and Stampin' Up in the end couldn't get it in because of manufacturing problems, I'm now going to make my own. So I'm just going to use my fringe scissors here, and I'm just going to cut up just up until a little bit of the middle there, but leave the middle, there's a strip in the middle that will be left. Now, and I'm going to pop some on the back, but I'm going to do it just here, and on some of the leaves. Alrighty, so now we will stick this down and we're done. Just make sure it's nicely positioned in the middle. And there we have it, a beautiful card made with crumb cake and all those other things that I showed you before. I'm not going to go through it all again, but seriously, you can combine all of your stamp sets and everything and make something really cool and mix and match everything. You won't lose when you do that kind of stuff. So, you know, enjoy your product, and I hope you enjoyed this card. If you have any questions, as always, just leave a comment below and I'm more than happy to answer any questions you may have. And if you would like to purchase any of the products you've seen today, minus the fringe scissors, I got these from Spotlight in case you're wondering where I got them from, because I didn't get the Stampin' Up ones when they were released a few years ago. But yeah, so any other questions, just don't hesitate to let me know. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again next time. Bye.